This NFL season has been one of the most injury-riddled NFL seasons in recent history, and a lot of teams have been hit hard by the injury bug, but the team that has been hit hardest is undoubtedly the 49ers. The 49ers have had so many of the big players going out. So today I'm going to be talking about why I feel like a ton of 49ers are going out, why is there such an injury bug, and how will the 49ers be able to perform in the 2020-2021 NFL season. What's up, everybody? It's AC Nas, and today I'm going to be talking about what is wrong with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to talk about all of their injuries and how I feel like they'll be able to perform in the 2020-2021 NFL season. So if you guys enjoy consistent football content, liking and subscribing would be super helpful. We're so close to our goal of 50 subscribers. We're currently at 45. It's incredible how much subscribers we've gained. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's get right into the video. So let's take a quick segment to first talk about the problem with the 49ers, and those are the injuries. I'm going to quickly go over the injuries. So there's first Jimmy Garoppolo, who had an ankle sprain, Raheem Mostert, ankle sprain, George Kittle, bruised ACL, Tevin Coleman, ankle sprain, Deebo Samuel, ACL, out for the year. So basically with the offense alone, it is their entire offense is literally out. And then on the defensive side of the ball, you thought we were done? No. Nick Bosa, ACL, out for season. Richard Sherman, calf injury, out for a few weeks. Dee Ford, back injury, probably out for the season. Solomon Thomas, ACL, out for season. And Dre Greenlaw, we don't really have information on his injury. But if you look at this, the main players on their team are all injured. And it's a big problem because then when all your stars are injured, you basically just lose. So most of their team is going to come back after about 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, Richard Sherman will be back, Tevin Coleman will be back. By this time, George Kittle's expected to be back, Jimmy Garoppolo is expected to be back. So some of their biggest players are expected to come back within a few weeks. But in those few weeks, they're going to have to play with a backup quarterback who's not that great. Their tight end is going to be Jordan Reed, and Jordan Reed I feel like is a solid tight end to have as a backup. And like I said, they don't really have much wide receivers outside of Deebo Samuel. So their offense is going to be struggling for those 4 weeks where Kittle, Garoppolo, and Tevin Coleman are out. So within those weeks, the 49ers really won't have much of an offense to be able to power them forward. And then looking at the defense, last year the strength on the defense was the defensive line. So with Dee Ford, Solomon Thomas, and Nick Bosa being out, they still have some players on their defensive line like Eric Armstead. So their defensive line is now average defensive line, not the strength of the team anymore. Their linebackers have been able to stay consistently healthy. Fred Warner, Quan Alexander, they've been able to stay healthy besides Dre Greenlaw. And then their cornerbacks and secondary is completely fine. So this team, the defense is not going to struggle too much. They're missing now they're going to miss for the rest of the season what made their team so deadly. So if you noticed for all their injuries, most of the injuries actually came to parts below the knees. And I know lots of NFL injuries happen there, but if you notice, there's a ton of ankle sprain injuries, there's a ton of bruised ACLs, a ton of ACL injuries, and most of these injuries happened in week 2 against the Jets. The Jets went to the 49ers field, and when the 49ers were playing at their field, tons of injuries happened. So the 49ers players showed frustration with the turf, saying that the turf was bad and it's causing them to have a lot of injuries. And if you watch some clips from the game, the turf is just flying everywhere. Should not be doing that. So I can see why they think the turf is a concern. And they'll have to refill up the turf because it's causing lots of players to get injuries. And it might even cost the 49ers the season, because the 49ers looked really promising coming into this year. And if a big factor of injury is turf, and they don't win games because of that, it would be pretty sad. Now, another problem with the injuries that I think has to go with every single NFL team is the lack of practice and lack of preseason. Because their body was not able to get ready for all the hits that they would get in a football game, their bodies are not prepared for the hits, and therefore they get injured too. This is something that I predicted that would happen before the NFL season even started, because when players don't get used to the intense physical contact that they would get in an NFL game, they will get hurt. So because players are not ready, it's pretty obvious that this is happening to the entire league. The entire NFL is getting hit with the huge injury bug because the players do not have really much time to prepare for the season. So now comes the part of the video where I try to predict how far the 49ers will make it in the NFL season. And one thing that I noticed from looking right at their schedule, the weeks when most of their players are out, those weeks they're playing against some pretty mediocre teams. They're playing against the Giants, the Eagles, and the Dolphins. So I see them winning against the Giants and the Dolphins and losing to the Eagles, putting them at a record of 3-2. But then looking at the rest of their schedule, it's very tough. Then they have a big streak where they have to play against the Rams, who have been showing strong performances, the Patriots, the Seahawks, the Packers. So they're going to be playing against some really tough teams. And then later on in the year, they're going to play teams like they have to play the Seahawks twice. They're going to play the Cowboys. But later on down the year, I see them winning more games because some other team will be back. So I think 6-10 is a reasonable record for them. But if you guys disagree, feel very free to leave it in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been AC Analysis on what will happen to the San Francisco 49ers in the 2020-2021 NFL season. And remember, if you guys enjoy consistent football content, liking and subscribing would be super helpful. We're on the road to 50 subscribers and we're very close. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you next time.